YouTube? Welcome to Fred's Full Throttle. This past week was a pretty slow news week, with nothing really standing out to me, so this video is going to have a couple different elements to it, which we'll get into in a little bit. First, I'm going to cover a couple things that caught my eye, and then we're going to share a few things coming to the channel, so let's get right into it. Alright, as you all know, the dealer tour is in full swing, and Z06 has been making their way around the country, visible at dealerships, trade shows, auctions, and all other types of similar events. There's a million pictures out there of these cars from every possible angle, as GM is really ratcheting up the press tour and the hype machine. However, once you've seen a couple dozen of these photos, there isn't much to glean from them. And that's why I've actually been focusing as of late more on the car spotting side of things out in the real world. The most interesting and informative photos I've found are the ones caught candidly out in the real world. You get the real lighting, you get a much better sense of the presence of the car, the low height, the width, the stance of the wheels, and honestly just seeing the colors of the paint mixed with the carbon flash metallic or carbon fiber trim I think is really great. Also, since these cars are driving around pretty constantly, we're finally getting people who are taking better and better quality photos and videos of the cars. Early on with some of the street testing, you may remember that a lot of the photos looked like they were processed by an Etch-a-Sketch. Not anymore. I wanted to share 3 of the best ones I've seen from the last 2 weeks. Up first, we have a ceramic matrix gray car that was chased down in Philadelphia. I say chased down because the photographer actually chased it down on his bike while he was riding around in the city. The CMG paint looks really good in contrast on the car, and this is one of the first ones I've seen that wasn't on a car carrier. The driver even gave our intrepid photographer a thumbs up as he took some of his video. Now before I jump into the next car, I do want to share a little bit of a PSA. There seems to be a cross-section of the Corvette community that's in a bit of a frenzy about the E-Ray. And by frenzy, I mean they're saying, every Z06 without the center exhaust is immediately an E-Ray. Take a deep breath. It'll be okay. This CMG car that I just showed a second ago is one of those cars. Now let's look at a few facts. First, the E-Ray hasn't been announced, and with the slow launch of the Z06 and how slow things are going, it's not coming immediately. Next, in the videos directly from Chevy of the Z06 and their test fleets, both camoed and uncamoed test fleet cars have many with side exhausts. After that, several interviews with Chevy engineers talked directly about not all the cars having the center exhaust because of when they were built. And then throughout the E-Ray rumor mill, the general consensus is that the E-Ray is likely to have a hybrid system with the Stingray's LT2 pushrod V8. Apparently many people can't tell the difference on how those sound. Joking aside, all I'm getting at is that when the video above was posted, even on the forums, immediately and only because of the side exhausts, a ton of people were clamoring to be the first person to say E-Ray. Relax, it's not an E-Ray, it's a Z06. Seriously. Maybe it's because of the slow news on the Z06, I don't know. Anyway, end of PSA. Up next, we have 2 really good pictures in high resolution of Hypersonic Gray Z06 that were taken last week. The car has the Z07 package with the carbon wheels and was stopped at a grocery store. My money is on that if you want to see some of these cars in person, hang out in Michigan somewhere where you can get food. We keep seeing them at fast food places and then this time a grocery store. Alright, and in what is easily my favorite pictures from this past week, we have 4 great roller shots of an Amplify Orange Coupe with a low spoiler, the forged alloys in black, and I think it looks like $1,000,000. Special credit goes to Detroit 313 Photo for the well-composed shots of the car. These are easily my favorite of the car since it's been unveiled. The paint really comes alive in the natural light, and I'm also impressed they were able to get as many high-resolution pictures while driving on the Detroit highways. Hopefully they were being safe, but nicely done. In a moment, I'm going to share some news, but first, let's go over 3 viewers' cars. First up, we have Pat's 2019 Callaway Grand Sport 627. I want to applaud Pat, not just on the gorgeous car, but going all in on a far from stock C7. This car puts down 627 horsepower and 610 pound-feet of torque, while also getting better cooling than the stock car. You can see that the front cooling intakes have been enlarged substantially to keep the car cool. You'll also notice that the supercharger is exposed through the hood, which I think is a nice touch. Callaway's supercharger system utilizes 3 separate intercoolers, a primary, and then 2 secondaries to keep the engine nice and cool, and with all that extra intake space, the car can put down reliable power all day long without overheating. You can see from the build shot just how much of the car had to be stripped down as they had to refit it for the 627 package. Pat's got a great eye for photography too, with just some amazing shots in an old factory. Well done, man, across the board. What a great car. Thank you for sharing that with me. Up next, we have a C7 Grand Sport from subscriber John. John's a Vietnam veteran. Thank you for your service. And the car looks great in white with the red hash marks on the fenders. Bonus points for the vanity plate. Thanks for sending the photo, John. Really great looking car. Now lastly, we've got subscriber James from Connecticut who sent me a picture of his 2015 Z06 with his Z07 package and exposed carbon fiber. His car is a 3LZ in shark gray, and I love the front 3/4 view. You can also see John's got a pretty big smile, and I'm sure he's always smiling when he's driving that car. Awesome looking car, man. Thanks for sending me the picture. Alright, so before I close, I have 2 bits of news to share. First, I'm going to be taking a vacation. 2 actually. Next week, my wife and I are headed somewhere warmer for some warm weather and a week in the sun. I'm really looking forward to it. This means that next week I won't be having a new video being released, at least not a deep dive. It's been a long time since I've had some time off, and I honestly just need a week to refresh, recharge, and not think about work. Now, I mentioned 2 vacations. The week I get back, I'm actually headed right back out a couple days later. However, this time, it's for a bit of car-related time off. So I grabbed 3 buddies of mine from the Gearheads Car Club, and we're doing a day down at the Porsche Experience Center in Atlanta. We're flying down, driving the next day, and then flying back. I've reserved 2 911s for the track, a 992 911 Turbo S and the new 992 911 GT3. I'm super excited to see the best of what Stuttgart has to offer and how it stacks up against the Corvette. This is going to be my second time at Porsche Experience Center, and though you can't film in the car while you're driving, I'm going to do my best to get footage from the facility, cars on the track, and even the museum. We may even grab some lunch up at the 356 Grill overlooking the track. Now this leads into, hint, I'm going to start incorporating some other cars into my channel to a degree. Don't worry, I'm still going to heavily be covering Corvette first and foremost, and I'm still going to follow the C8 Z06 and all the other upcoming variants as there is news. But I'm not really a brand loyalist, and I appreciate and enjoy cars from all different makes. The world of cars is huge, and I think there's room to appreciate and experience various options out there. So keep an eye out. As I have opportunity, I'll be adding in some other types of cars and news into the channel when there are gaps in the Corvette news cycle or something interesting comes along. Now, if there are brands, models, genres of cars that you're interested in seeing on the channel, let me know in the comments. I think it's going to be fun to incorporate some different things in, as well as still covering all the Corvette news you can possibly get your hands on. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this, and until next time, Fred out!